Hello everybody. Today we are here at Hårgammerfestival. We are here thanks to an exhibition called You're Probably Wondering Why We're Here. The exhibition has been sponsored by Fritt Ord and Norsk Kulturråd, and it's an exhibition that has been curated by Kiyoshi Yamamoto. This is part of a series of exhibitions where Hårgammerfestival has had attention towards the idea of change, the idea of moving populations, of home, and not least of refugees, immigration, emigration. It started in 2016 with the well-known artist Svan Karadaki, excuse my pronunciation, and this has led to a series of 5 exhibitions since then. Now it's 2020, and outside the pandemic bubble, we will now do a conversation. This conversation will be flowing. We will do it in one take, and hopefully be a form of thought and reflection about being a foreign, international artist working and not least being successful in Norway. It's my great pleasure to introduce 2 ladies. They will introduce themselves, but during the course of the conversation I will be putting in various questions and various challenges, and we'll hopefully have a little bit of fun as well.
Hopefully. Yes,
so,
thank you.
Mara, Teresa, can we begin with you, Mara?
Hello everybody.
A short summary. Do you sometimes wonder why you're here?
Actually, every day. That's a big question. Yeah, well, I'm originally from Spain, and I came here in 2012, and since then, so I've been living here, but actually I've been also traveling back and forth and traveling around the world for a year. And
so just since 2012?
Yeah. I come from Alicante, probably many of you know, and small town, well, from a small town called Altea, which is on the seaside in Mediterranean Sea, so a beautiful spot. So of course they are my roots, and it's always present on me. Right. So, but I consider myself not only Spanish, but I consider myself, as I say, from the world. Right. I'm an international artist, so.
But you've travelled extensively with both residencies and your training?
I've done a few residencies in Peru or Reykjavik, or, yeah. But then I took a sabbatic year where I was traveling in Asia, and then in South America I spent like almost 8 months in a residency, 1 month, and traveling as a tourist, but not as a tourist. It was more like a nomad, I would like to say, just experiencing other cultures and how things are in the other side.
So if I pull you in straight away, before we begin with Teresa, and say, why Norway?
Why Norway?
Yes, why Norway now?
You know,
direct reasons for being in Norway now.
Well, it was for personal reasons I came here, but funny enough, since I was a student in Ireland, yes, my lecturers will tell me, well, we know you're Spanish, otherwise we'll say that you are from Norway. Right. Because I've always been looking to the north. It has something really appealing. I don't know if it's the nature, right, it's the light, but it has always been very present for me. So somehow, with the years, I end up, it seems like every time I go further up north. So yeah, there's some kind of connection.
Teresa, can you give a short intro?
Yes, my name is Teresa Puig. I'm from a city nearby Barcelona. It's a big city. It's called Terrassa. And I moved...
You say big, what type of big is big?
It's around 300,000 people. And then I moved to Norway in 2007, the first time. And then I've been traveling, living in other countries, in Azerbaijan, Brazil, and first in England, before moving to Norway. And then I come back to Norway in 2015.
And you trained in Cardiff, in Wales?
First in England, in Cheltenham.
Right, yeah.
First Newcastle, then Cheltenham, and then Cardiff. I did my master in Cardiff.
So it's obvious from both of you that you are well-travelled, as well as now being based in Norway. I'd like to know what you work with. What type of art you do before we move on to the larger questions about integration. Teresa, what do you work with at present?
I'm doing mainly photography and installations. I'm working a lot with textile and drawing on paper as well. But mainly installations. I really like to play with the scenery and lights and so on. Yeah.
Lovely. And you, Mara, what do you work
Yeah, I'm trained as a painter, so painting is always my main element, and I have this huge attraction through color and shape. But in the last year, so probably since I moved here, I've been focusing more in this installation and looking at the space and how we interact with the spaces. So, and also I've been making some sculptures and just trying different things out and see what it suits better to express who I am now.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So it's personal expression as well.
Yeah.
Now we get more around to the main subject of this discussion. We have a well-established art scene in Stavanger and in the west of Norway. I think it's a successful art scene. I myself obviously come from England, come from England and came here in the early 1990s. So from my point of view, remembering those first days, the art scene has improved immeasurably since the early 1990s. We have several good quality exhibition sites. We have a professional workforce that works hard, putting forward artists and helping artists. But as we said in a conversation recently, I'm on the other side. I am not an artist. Now, I came over here with, in the Damien Hirst era, when everybody wanted to hear about art. And I'm a mediator. It's just mediation for me. So I now want to go back into the first days when you first came over in 2012 and 2007, 2008, a good time to come. What do you remember? What were the difficulties, rather than the successes? What were the difficulties to begin with? Can we begin with you, Teresa?
Yeah. Well, for me, in my case, I came here, I was pregnant, 7 months pregnant, so that was a difficult step to get in. Yes. But I went straight to the graphics workshop to do printmaking. Yes, and my idea was to start having networking, so just to let to know people that I was here and to meet people and to meet other artists. Right. And then I found a space, an atelier, a studio space, and I met Ellie Glader, who is an artist, a Norwegian artist, and she introduced me many people and many spaces to apply.
So you found it quite easy to become integrated because of a contact person that helped you come forward?
Yes, thanks to her, but also, as I said, I went to start doing printmaking in Stavanger, and I met all the small community in printmaking, and so for me it was a good start, but then I had the baby and then, I had to, exactly. Yeah.
How about you, Mara? What's your some of the basic hardships? Because we haven't had any from Teresa. It seemed to be quite an easy flow, which we can discuss afterwards. Yeah. But how about you? Do you feel that it was an easy flow in?
Well, it wasn't an easy flow in. I must say that before I moved here, I came at the end of 2011, and I came just when I went to the Kunstcenter and I met you, and I remember we had a conversation because at the time I was living in Ireland and I was interested to make an exchange program. Yes. And I remember you were saying, well, actually, we are not interested in bring artists from abroad were interested of taking our own artists, out to the world. So, but anyway, this didn't work out. I didn't get funding from Ireland. But then when I came here in 2012, first thing I did, I needed a job. I needed to maintain myself here, so I needed money, and I said, well, let me see what I can do. So I heard about a program called Practice, something like that, from NAF. So I went to NAF and I talked to them. I said, hey, I found a place that I can work there, but they can't really hire me because they don't have the money. So they said yes. So then I have also had a bad experience in NAF office where the language was, of course, was a big problem. Right. So I was not treated in a really nice way. They just told me, how do you pretend to live here if you don't speak the language? Right. So, but it was in a very rude, discriminating way. So that was kind of the first kind of
That's your first
encounter with
officialdom.
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you, are there any moments when you felt that Norway is not the right place? Yes.
Not the right place to work,
yes,
you mean? Or to be inspired, or to be...
I must admit, I had a very lucky time in Norway. But my decision very early on, not just to get married and have children, but also to learn the language. I was very lucky in the Norwegian system to be given a good tuition in Norwegian early in my residency here. And in the 1990s, it was impossible to work in English unless you worked in the oil business. Therefore, my key to success has definitely been my ability to not just welcome foreign artists to the country, but also to keep contacts in foreign countries and to speak Norwegian with the natives, if you like. Do you think that there is any factor in your production that means that you have been successful in Norway? I would say my success is down to my language. What would be your factor for your success? You have both exhibited here and you have been successful in finding studio spaces and developing your own friendship group, your own network. What are the factors that have led to this? Can I start again with you, Teresa?
I think Norway for me it's a good place to be, in the sense that I feel very concentrated here. I can focus myself here. I think maybe it's the weather factor that you need to be indoors a lot, and for me it's been very good in that sense.
Yes.
Networking, it's been okay as well, because I think you need to speak the language. I really wanted to learn the language, but in Norway you don't have a problem speaking in English. No. I think everybody understands you.
Yes.
Which in other countries maybe you have problem situation with the language, but I don't feel the language is a main problem here.
Right. Mara, how do you feel about the keys to success, you could say?
Yeah, as Teresa said, I mean, I completely agree with the fact that Norway is a good place to live. It's a good base to have. I mean, it's a country where we have everything, basically, so you feel secure. In terms of developing the careers, of course, it's more challenging, not only because of the language. Of course, it will be amazing to be able to be fluent, because it's not only to talk to people, but also to understand the psyche of the Norwegian, how the Norwegian society works. So I think that's the main goal for me now. Like, I decide to fully immerse into the language. I'm taking Norwegian classes at the university. And so, so I'm like, and it's such a great satisfaction when you can swap from English, Spanish, Norwegian, we're talking about this, and the three languages are coming one, and it's very exciting. So, because I feel more included in that way. Yes. Even though right now I'm not completely fluent, but that's, yeah, so.
Oh, lovely. Because that sentence you said a little bit earlier about, I told you that we didn't want any foreign artists to come to Norway, we're trying to exploit our artists. That came absolutely in the aftermath of the Stavanger Kulturby 2008, which was a resounding success. But in the aftermath of the success, one has to ask, have we become truly international? So I'd now like to ask you, do you agree with exhibitions such as this? Do you agree politically and in the way that it has been, we have asked a relatively successful Bergen-based artist, to draw in people from various nations, various nationalities with different expressions, different works? How do you, would this have been a good way of putting you forward in when you first came to the country? Teresa?
Do you mean the international?
The idea of just putting
being part of an international exhibition,
group,
or
yes.
Probably it helps. What I like to see here, that it's an opportunity to see new work.
Yes.
And it's like a fresh work for us, and discover new artists who are living here. I think it's quite interesting to me. It's been really a good idea.
A good idea, yeah. How about yourself?
Well, I mean, of course, I'm really up for this. You know, I wish to see more exhibitions with more international artists. But it's not only because they're international, it's because they are artists as well, that they do other things, you know, and it's good for the Norwegian culture to see things that they are done in other places in another way. They are not that conventional. So, and for me, culture or art is about including. So it's not about creating groups or, you know, so it's about including everyone. So I think we should have more different kind of exhibitions where everybody is welcome and there is a dialogue wherever you come from, China or you come from south of
Any other places,
Kristiansand or whatever. So
That's beautiful and has an idealistic ring to it, which I think everybody agrees with, not just in terms of art, but all activities. But one thing that I am very conscious of, having been the leader of an art centre for 8 years, do the art unions help? Have they helped you? You are both members of the artists' unions, and I think the artists' unions. I am a great supporter of the artists' unions when comparing with other countries in both Europe and the world. I support the stipend. I was brought up in the era of Margaret Thatcher, so the unions was a bad word for me when I came to Norway, but I'm an incredibly social democratic person now. Have the unions helped you though? It's okay having it as a theory, as an ideal, as a group of people, as a membership, but has it helped you really in your everyday existence as an artist here? How do you feel, Mara?
Well, this is a funny question. I know the unions are there for helping us. Maybe we have the same kind of relationship you had with unions. In Spain, it's exactly the same. If you belong to a union when you're a worker, it's much better if your employer doesn't know.
Exactly.
So I don't know. So I know the system is there. They are there to help you. But we talk about this, and it's about we don't know how to ask for help. No. I know they are there to give us a service, but probably we are not asking. We are not. Yeah, or we don't know what to ask, or you know, it's a bit.
Maybe we are not using it properly.
But but it's there, and it's good to be part of it, because
of course, I think you need
opens
to be,
doors, and of course you feel also part. You feel more included.
You feel more part of the artistic community, but maybe we don't know how to use it. Maybe yeah, we haven't received many stipends, many helps, but we never ask for help, and maybe we need that. And I was going to say also about the language and the stipends, that sometimes we write our stipends, our applications in English, usually, and we wonder if we should do it in Norwegian, and that's for me, it's my problem, because writing in Norwegian, the whole application, it's so difficult, so I need always help. But so having a conversation, it's easier, but writing an application in Norwegian, it's more difficult, at least for me. And I was wondering, maybe we could ask help to the associations, or
very good. Yeah. Now this comes to another, again back to this flickering area of the importance of language. I strongly believe that the authorities, the judges, the juries are open. That there is no real prejudice against English speaking, English written, or other country. English being the international language in Norway. However, I do feel there's a natural intrinsic prejudice that comes through. And I think that is well seen in some of the media coverage, where artists have been criticised for producing English press melding or English pieces, English catalogue texts, which are woolly and vague and too academic. So there is definitely a politics in Norway that can be very interesting in terms of language and the approach to language. So what you're both saying is quite interesting, and we should note that sitting on the other side. I'd now like to ask you about exhibitions. You have both exhibited in Norway, but you have also exhibited in other countries. How is your balance at the moment? How do you feel your exhibition program? Again, we are speaking outside the bubble. We're not speaking within the pandemic. We have had a terrible year, we all know it, but we will move on. How do you feel about exhibiting in Norway? Are you finding it easy to gather exhibition places? Teresa?
I found there is lots of competition, and for me it hasn't been easy.
Right.
But thanks to Ho Gamle Prestegård, I've been always welcoming here, and I've been exhibiting twice already. And yeah, so I think it's the best place to apply. But in other places, it's been hard, actually.
Right. How about yourself?
Yes, Teresa said, of course, I agree with that it's difficult, but as it can be in any other place. But it's also about the selection of spaces to exhibit. I mean, it's not every place that you would like to show. There is not enough to choose from, or they are very selective, or there are places that they have an ethos and they have already some kind of line that they follow. So somehow your work, it won't fit there. So it's not only about not being accepted, it's about also what kind of institutions that they are around. I mean, do I really want to show in that place? So we also have, of course, we like to be selective, but sometimes, of course, we apply and apply and apply because, of course, you want to be a voice, you want to be seen.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, it is a bit challenging. Yeah.
Do you think the Norwegian art scene, and obviously because we are in the West, the Stavanger and the Rogaland art scene, do you think it's in a healthy position at the moment?
Start with Mara.
think that one over. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if healthy will be like good words. I don't know what is that. No. But I don't know. I mean, there is a good few or at least in the Atelier Hus, there are some in Tausena, there are some artists that they are kind of out there and having exhibition in interesting places. So, but of course, it's not the same like Oslo Kommune. I mean, also in Oslo, everything gets to Oslo. Rogaland is like smaller and we're in the countryside somehow. Yes. So maybe we don't get as much attention, but not because of the quality of the art. I think we have excellent artists and very diverse. Yes. It's very multicultural, if you want to call it. So.
It's quite international, actually, I think. But we were discussing this before coming here today, and there is no such a big variety of galleries or institutions to exhibit here right now. Right. I feel you need to move more to Bergen or Oslo or another places, but I don't feel Rogaland is now.
Do you feel that there are less places?
I feel so. I feel this way, but I'm not so sure if it's true, but I feel this way.
I completely agree with you. I have a gut feeling, Norman's Gate and various very good exhibition sites, smaller exhibition sites that were regularly changing their exhibitions, that these seem to have not been lost, but they are submerged at the moment, hopefully to pop through again. In terms of international art, we really have very good links with abroad as a county, as an area. And we have fantastic catalysts, such as Martin Reed, constantly bringing in things and making things happen. But I don't think there's very much coordination. It tends to be this incredible festival thinking that we used to have. It was very popular in the 90s. Everything's going to be a festival. We'll have a festival about carrots, as long as it's a festival. But the art festivals, where are they now? It's an interesting thing that's occurred. In terms of the future, again, outside the pandemic.
It's very difficult though.
Yes, it's awful, yeah. What do you think will be your own first personal and then maybe ideas above oneself? What are you hoping for now in the next 2 or 3 years?
It's been like 2 years now that I don't think too much about the future, and I'm thinking a lot about the present, and I'm just working and thinking where I can go, but in a very short time. Yes. I don't have big thoughts about what I'm going to do in a few years. I don't know, no idea, because the situation is changing so much as well. So it's quite hard, and I've been invited to be in several workshops internationally, but they cancelled now. So I'm just waiting what is going to happen. But of course, I want to keep working and trying to find places to exhibit or residencies. Of course, I'm willing to do that, but I don't know what I'm going to do in a few years' time.
Mara, do you have the same? What have you done, and what are you doing?
I mean, this summer I was lucky. I had an exhibition in Norman's Gate in Salongen, this tiny place that it's for emerging artists, and they are doing an amazing job there. So I really encourage everyone to go and see the exhibitions. So I was lucky that I could have that exhibition, and so I was working with painting and installation. But what I wanted to say about the future, I mean, for me, like, of course, with this New Year resolution, you come to think about what happened in the year, and I said, well, I'm kind of fed up of having this not security in my life. So in a way, I would like in the future, at least in the next 5 years, if I can plan ahead, to have some kind of stability where I can of course, my practice is based, I have the studio, I go to work, but I would like to find a way of really establish myself better and maintain myself so I can work more kind of. So finding the balance between earning money and, because being an artist, we know that it has the two sides. Many artists, we have to have another job on the side to maintain.
Yes.
And so it's not always that you are lucky that you have enough means to do that.
Yes.
Sometimes you just have to go to work and then in the evening go into the studio and work as you can. And so it takes extra energy. So this is my wish. I wish I could find a job, for example, that it will allow me to maintain the rhythm of being creative, and my creative side can keep on developing. So that's all.
Now, I'm really, it was obviously a primed question, because I was assuming that one of you would mention the word network. Mm-hmm. And one assumes, as from my side, from possibly the institutional side of the art world, that networking is the most important thing that one does.
Of course, definitely.
Is that just taken as a foundation, as a ground level? Of course, I'll be working on my networking, or
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it should be a priority, because we know that you need to have contacts. Mm-hmm. Especially when you are from abroad, because right. You need to. So, and it's something that maybe we're not very good at it. You have to be a good seller. And as an artist, most of us, we're just happy to be locked in the four walls of the studio and just work on. And then, but networking, of course. And I think in a way to get into, to have a network, a system of support here in Norway will be to study. I mean, once you are a student here, yes, in a way, it's like you get a foot into the system, because you start knowing other people, you are working with galleries, you have lectures that come and visit an artist, so you create, your network starts there. So in a way, it's a pity that we didn't. I mean, I tried to study in Bergen. I applied. I went to the interview for a master's and everything, and I never get in. Yeah. But that's another story. But that was my idea. Okay. Not because I wanted to do a master, but just for the sake of being able to get in, inside the system and get. So probably that would have been
2 years ago.
I don't know.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I was thinking exactly the same, and I thought, okay, I need to start working here. Maybe I have a better network, and then I sent my curriculum to different places, just to work as a practice plus, so no income. I haven't received any answer, so.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
But I do think that one of the, it's very interesting you saying this about education, because one of the reasons that the artistic scene has improved in Norway is because of the quantity of artistic talent that has, Norwegian artistic talent that has trained abroad and come back. Yeah. And that is something, not least because of the way we have very few recognised training systems in Norway for artists, and therefore many artists have gone abroad. And they come back with different competence, different ideas and different horizons, which have increased the expertise and the resources in the Norwegian art system. But that should now be flowing through. I believe that internationalism should have got maybe further than it has. And I don't know why that has occurred. I have no idea really why that has occurred, because we have all of the building blocks for good cultural, you could say good cultural mediation in this country. We have an incredibly hungry public who want to come to the gallery. They want to see work. We have lectures that are extremely well attended. And we have sales that are in international terms, very high. Maybe it's purely that we have such a small population.
Probably.
Yes. We all come from countries which are larger, maybe small towns, but in very vast populations. Yes. And we have a very small population in Norway, and we're relying upon them to come and support our artists and to buy and change and have a more taste for different forms of art and to accept foreign artists. But we're only, 5-6 million people. It's not a lot of people. Okay, to summarize, language is important, and networking is very important.
Very important.
I think the idea of increasing your network and the opportunities in Norway within language is obviously, it all sounds quite idealistic. Producing good art is possibly the most important thing, which we haven't talked about, because it's that good art then will hopefully seep through into the system, which if you are honest to your art, it will seep through, and you work hard with your art, it will seep through. Is there anything that we've forgotten in this beautiful discussion that we've had?
Can I say something about producing good quality art? I mean, as artists we have big ideas, we can think big. And of course, you need funding.
You need funding. I was thinking exactly the same.
If you want to produce a good exhibition, you need funding. Yes. You need to get your ideas come through to the other end, and for that you need money. Yes. So if you don't have that kind of resources, of course, your work is will never really fully develop as you would like, because you're always compromising in materials, in this, in time, because you have to. So it's a catch-22. I mean, you want to produce, you want to be a good artist, but you really can't, because you don't have the means to do it.
Is this why most successful Norwegian artists go into the public commission? They go into doing public art, schools, barnhagen, large institutions need new art. Yeah, this might be so therefore in 5 years' time, maybe both of you should have said, I'm going to get that public commission. Because that means that the funding comes through, the funding is guaranteed, and that you enter, and the public art form and the public art system in Norway is superb. It is well organised and it's well regulated. So that might be the new.
Yeah, so for us it's about changing. I mean, of course we have been following the same recipe for many years, so it's about changing the recipe. So it's okay, let me see what I can get here to get a piece of the cake as well. So it's about changing the approach or the attitude.
And networking in that area. We have such good qualified consultants all over Norway that really do work hard at trying to find the artists that they want to suggest into these exhibitions, into these works. So that's something that we can have as another New Year's resolution.
Yes,
it is. Yeah.
That's a good.
Well, I don't know how long we've been running actually, but I would. It should be just about the 40 minutes thing. I'd really like to thank you both. It's been a really a lovely experience.
Thank you for
really
inviting us.
To hold for this opportunity. Think of us, because there are many other foreign artists or international artists living in Stavanger, which are also really interesting. So we feel really privileged to be here. So thank you so much.
So thank you very much for watching.